What's up everyone, today I'll be showcasing the newly buffed Dubwool in the Open Ultra League, where with Double Kick, Body Slam and Payback, I think it's an amazing pivot, because Double Kick plus Body Slam spam does work versus basically everything besides Ghosts, and that's where Payback is really gonna do a lot of damage. It does of course still struggle a bit with fighting types and steel types mainly, and this is where Talonflame is gonna come in real useful in the lead, because it can cover for those. And then in the back I'm running Tackle Greedent. 1, because I just really wanted to try out Tackle Greedent. 2, it pairs well with Talonflame. And 3, Dubwool kind of functions as a bait out for some of Greedent's hardest counters, and once they're gone, Tackle Greedent can just really outpoke a lot of stuff. Probably do a lot of damage in the back. Anyway, we're gonna head into these battles. First match up against a Mandibuzz Elite running Air Slash. This is kind of even, I'd say. It kind of depends on baits. Generally, Mandibuzz can win this since it's just so much more bulky. I don't expect him to shield the first move, because if I go for Flame Charge, it's quite devastating for them. So go straight for the Brave Bird. But unfortunately, they shield it. It's still fine though at this point. I'm just gonna bring in my Dubwool. I have to switch out Talonflame eventually anyway, just in case there's some kind of fighter or like Registeel in the back, which comes in now. Registeel isn't the worst for Dubwool, because of course I have Double Kick to do super effective fast move damage and Payback to do neutral. But this is also not too good. Double Kick doesn't do too much fast move damage. It's kind of low damage. So even though they do add up, it's nothing impressive. And a Focus Blast will definitely one-shot me. At this point, Dubwool has done its job though. It's lured out the main greeted answer. So I'm just going to let it go. The opponent actually doesn't go for the Focus Blast. They go for the Zap Cannon. So to survive that move, I'm going to store up a Payback there. Come back in with my Talonflame and hit the Flame Charge before they get to another Zap Cannon. This should knock out the Registeel. And it does. In comes a Swampert though, not ideal. I only need 2 Insurance to get to my Brave Bird though, which means I would outpace there or like get on the CMP. My opponent knows though, so don't throw their move. Just get the Brave Bird off here. Take a shield. At this point, I could shield again. Maybe get to another Brave Bird if I shield twice, but that's not worth it to me at this point. I'm just gonna let Talon go and hope Greedent can put in a lot of work here with 2 shields. Remember, I also still got a Body Slam stored up on that Dubwool, which might come in useful later. These tackles, with Tackle, Greedent is actually slower to get to the moves, and you do less damage versus Swampert, of course. This is one matchup where Bullet Seed will be very useful. However, in like neutral matchups like Mandibuzz, Drapion, in the mirror, Tackle does better, since Tackle is just a harder hitting move. So farming stuff down is a lot easier with Tackle. In general, I'm not sure what's better yet. Overall, I think Tackle has slightly better matchups, unless you get up against Waters. Against Waters, obviously, you would want Bullet Seed. Anyway, versus Mandibuzz, Tackle definitely is better than Bullet Seed, as I'm actually doing some fast move damage, because they're neutral, whereas Bullet Seed would have been resisted. So this is not too bad. Kind of worried about this Swampert though, but I think I should be able to farm this down. It won't be necessary though, as I get to double Body Slam. And that should be enough to finish off the game there. 1 Body Slam into the Mandibuzz, 1 Body Slam into the Swampert. They get to the Hydro Cannon before that though, but we should have CP tied here. So even if they have double, which I'm pretty sure they don't, I will be able to knock it out before they get to another. So that is a good game right there. Giratina lead is quite awkward. I bring in my... Actually, no, I'm not going to bring in my Dubwool quite yet. I want a Brave Bird and dip here. With Talonflame lead, that's usually the play. If you have a bad lead, just go for the Brave Bird. Dip out, do a bunch of damage, or take a shield. In this case, we did a bunch of damage. In comes a Machamp, which is just wild. Not something I was expecting with Giratina lead, because their team is just already so weak to any fairy type. So kind of awkward here. Gotta go for the Body Slam now. The nice thing about this matchup is that Body Slam does like 50%. Honestly, I'm surprised they shielded that. They really should not have shielded that. But like, actually, maybe it doesn't matter, since my Talonflame is still gonna have to shoot up these moves. But yeah, the nice thing about the Machamp matchup, Body Slams do like 50%. So they are actually gonna have to throw their energy in that matchup, which means they can't come out with a bunch of farm to hit your Talonflame. They're actually gonna have to throw Crushel, which is what they did earlier. So it's not too bad. It's definitely bad, but it's not horrible. Anyway, I was expecting their Giratina to come in, throw a move, so I actually catch that on Greedent. Quite nice. Tackle, of course, isn't great. Again, okay, we got it to another Swampert. This is actually gonna happen a lot. There are so many Swamperts, and my Greedent just kept on getting aligned to Swamperts, which is not a great showcase for Tackle, of course. But there's definitely gonna be some matches where Tackle's gonna be good too. So I'm not entirely set on the moveset yet. Overall though, Tackle did do okay. Anyway, we're just gonna keep Body Slam spamming here. This is quite tough though. The Giratina still has some energy. This Swampert is kind of loaded. So yeah, it's not good. I really thought I had a Brave Bird there for some reason, but I don't. Oh, and now I'm gonna go for the Flame Charge because I thought it would kill, but then they bring in Giratina. I really should have just gone for the Brave Bird, honestly, because I was kind of expecting this switch into. I didn't think it'd be that bad if they switched this in, since I thought I'd be able to get to another Flame Charge, knock it out. Oh, and here make another mistake. I let him... Yeah, oh my god. There's a bunch of mistakes. Look at this. I don't know why I did this. I let him do another... I was thinking maybe I should farm down with Greedent. Farm down with Greedent. And then Body Slam the Swampert. So actually, I let him do one more Shadow Claw. And then I was like, yeah, that's not a good idea. I'll just start a Flame Charge. But because I did that extra... that waiting there, they got an extra Shadow Claw, and now they'll be able to farm it down with Swampert. So this was just a bunch of mistakes in a row, and yeah, it's gonna cost me the game. It was a tough game either way, to be honest, but I definitely could have won it if I just didn't do all those mistakes. But no, that's fine. I'll take the loss. GG's. Kommo-o is real awkward for Talonflame. I could have maybe stayed in there, done a Brave Bird, like Dragon Claws and Tails add up so quickly, so that rather switch it to Dubwool. They close combat, which I was expecting, so I shielded, and they're bringing a Talonflame now. This is where Wild Charge will be quite useful. In general, though, I do think Payback is the better moveset, especially as a pivot, since if a Ghost were to switch in, you don't want to be completely hard countered. And even though Wild Charge will be much better in this matchup, like Body Slam spam still really adds up. They actually shield the next one. I'm gonna no-shield this, expecting the Flame Charge. Probably survive, and you know what, if they Brave Bird, that's fine with me too. They do Flame Charge, gonna go for another Body Slam here, and hopefully I'll be able to get to another one, because that would probably take their next shield. Yep, we get to another one. Look at that. We're just spamming off these Body Slams. They're gonna have to shield there if they want the Talonflame to live, which they do. That's great. Gonna bring in my own Talonflame now, and just try to go for the farm down. If they Flame Charge here, they're not gonna reach the Brave Bird, so just shield. And they do Flame Charge. It's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, they're not going to reach the Brave Bird. So, oh, they did. I really thought they weren't. But yeah, they do reach the Brave Bird at 1 HP. So I catch it on my Greedent, not wanting my Talonflame to go down. I didn't throw my Body Slam right there. That's a mistake. But, like, does it really matter? No, because I still need to hit a Brave Bird into the combo anyway. So, yeah, and they have a Cresselia on the back, so... If that Talonflame would have not lived on 1 HP, might have been possible. Actually, I probably would have won, because the combination of Talonflame plus Greedent would have definitely been enough to take care of this Cresselia. So, close game there. Even though it doesn't look that way, definitely a close game. GG. Talon versus Drapion. This is, I would say, a pretty even matchup. Brave Bird basically one-shots. Most Talonflames, I think, straight Flame Charge here, and I've seen a lot of like Drapion no shield to Flame Charge. That's what I always do, so I assume others do it too. Maybe that's a bad assumption, but I just go for the Brave Bird, hoping they do the same thing I always do and no shield, but they actually shield. Kinda lame, not gonna lie. But fine, I got a shield now. I bring in Dubwool, really hoping they don't get the debuff, and they do get the debuff. And bring in the Skuntank right now. This is okay though. I should be able to get to a bunch of Body Slams right there, or at least 2, which will put this Skuntank into a range where I can farm down with Talonflame. Actually, never mind. They gotta get to the move for me, which I will shield up, as I do want to get more chip in. At this point, I'm expecting a Trevenant in the back, by the way. A kind of common team is Trevenant, Skuntank, Drapion, with Trevenant lead is the usual lead. This, I think, was popularized by King. But this trainer seems to be running it ABA with Drapion lead, which is kind of weird. But I guess it works. So I'm expecting Trevenant, which means my line should be pretty good against it, since I have Greedent and Talonflame to take care of Trevenant. Actually, this team kind of triple counters the Trevenant. So, yeah, kind of a nice team because of that. Sadly, we haven't faced any, though. But, you know, maybe this will be the one game where we face it. This is a matchup where Tackle really helps, as it actually does some fast move pressure. I'm still gonna have to throw a Body Slam though. So maybe in this particular matchup, this particular game, Tackle doesn't really help me. But in general, Tackle helps you win that matchup versus Drapion, where Bullet Seed would lose. So that's definitely a plus for Tackle right there. Anyway, it is a Trevenant coming in. I'm just gonna stay in with Greedent, throw one Crunch. They smartly no-shield that, as Crunch would do less damage than any move Talonflame throws, so very smart. Very unfortunate too. They also see me tie on that move, which is very good. Well, not good for me, but very smart by them. At this point, I expect I'll just be able to farm down. They at most get to double Seed Bomb. They're not gonna reach Shadow Ball here, so this should be just be a Seed Bomb. And I'm hoping I survive it. I should though. It's double resisted. I survive. We Flame Charge or we Incinerate down, and that is a good game. Jellicent lead is absolutely awful for Talonflame, but we're just gonna do what I usually do and Brave Bird and dip. Most Jellicents like to throw out 5 hexes though to try to CMP on the Brave Bird since such an obvious play. I expect that, so I don't throw a move as I didn't want to shield the Shadow Ball, which I definitely would have had because after Brave Bird my defense drops of course. And because I did that I got full free Incinerate, which is really nice, and now I can get to the Brave Bird, do a bunch of damage versus Jellicent. In comes Cobalion now. This isn't great. This is definitely not great. Cobalion is kind of trouble for my team. Talonflame, of course, my best answer, but it's still a Stone Edge to destroy that. Dubwool, kind of fine. I'm doing super effective fast move damage, of course, but they're not doing that much. It's just double kick. And they are doing a lot of damage back with their double kicks and Sacred Sword, so I'll definitely lose this, but I might put it into a range where I can knock out with Talonflame. Looks like they're fully farming me down, which is a problem, because if they have 100 energy, they can basically Sacred Sword and then Stone Edge straight afterwards. This is a trainer I know. So I knew they knew that I know at Stone Edge. So I was expecting them to bait. It's not a bait. Yeah. But the thing is, like, if they did bait, I would have had to, like, double shield, which I didn't want. So it was a call I felt like I had to make. It just didn't go my way. If I would have shielded that, I would have been in a much better position. But it was just, it's not the way it played out, sadly. It's a Dubwool in the back anyway, so I would have gotten wrecked either way. Swampert is absolutely terrible, so I bring in my Dubwool. In comes a Scrafty, and this is where Dubwool is quite nice. It's actually has an okay matchup here. Most normal types, Greedent, Snorlax, kind of suck here, because you either neutral damage with Bullet Seed and Body Slams, or you resist it with Licks with Snorlax, so Scrafty just straight up wins that. But Dubwool does quite a lot of work with the double kicks, and it brings the Scrafty into a range where double Body Slam basically knocks out. So I have to shield there, they want to farm me down, I even get to another Body Slam right there, because they tried to farm me down. Pretty sure they can no-shield this. Yeah, they can no-shield that. But that's fine, I have a shield advantage. Talonflame with a shield advantage is absolutely amazing. So I'll just let this first move go. Farm him down with the Talon. They don't even get to another move. Now they bring back in the Swampert, which I can safely Brave Bird. I was really expecting them to no-shield this, or to shield this actually. But I still go for the Brave Bird, it's worth it, but I actually end up no-shooting. Super nice. And I bring in Drapion now. This is actually the ideal showcase of these two Pokemon actually. We had Dubwool versus Scrafty, which is, you know, the best normal to use versus Scrafty. And then we got Tackle Greedent versus Drapion, where Tackle does better versus than Bullet Seed. So this is definitely where I wanted these Pokemon. So that's awesome. As you can see, this is still quite a neutral matchup, but Greedent does generally win this. It really depends on debuffs as well, though. Actually, maybe not, because Drapion always basically needs 3 crunches to knock out anyway. I would have been in the red, though, if they got like a debuff anywhere. Still no debuff, though. That's quite lucky. Or did I miss it? I don't think they've gotten the buff, which is good. I kind of just sack my my Talon here. This might have been a mistake, because I allowed them to farm up a bunch first. Not great. And then I end up shooting, which is probably kind of dumb. I was fine with them catching this, though. No, this was fine, because I got the Flame Charge. I was fine with them catching that. This Drapion has to throw a move or die to the Incinerate. And if they had thrown the move, I would have had enough energy on the Greedent to outpace him to a Body Slam. So that was game over either way. Finally, a great lead with Talonflame. In comes the Galarian Stunfisk, which is not awesome. I don't really want to take a Rock Slide, so I switch out right before they can get it into my Dubwool. This is honestly not an amazing matchup. So I shoot this move, expect them to always Earthquake first, since Dubwool can definitely take it, but they actually bait, which is wild. It's pretty bad for me. Now they're gonna go for the Earthquake. It definitely has a solid chunk. Dubwool is not the tankiest. It is kind of tanky, but it's definitely not the tankiest. Anyway, this is okay. Like, honestly, even if I lose Switch, I'm kind of okay with that. Since Greedent still does very fine versus a load of Ninetales as well. Actually gonna shoot my next payback. I'm gonna shoot this next move. Expecting it to be Earthquake, but like I said, I don't really mind losing Switch that much. As with a Shield Advantage, Talonflame does super good anyway. But they actually end up Rock Sliding. Doesn't do enough to knock me out. And then they try to farm me down. Big mistake, trainer, as I got another payback for you. We take out the Stunfisk. It's a Swampert in the back. And now it's just game over. I got Greedent on the Swamp. I got Talon on the load of Ninetales. This is another match where Bullet Seed Greedent would have been better. I don't know where all these Swamperts came from. And I don't know how I managed to get every single one of them aligned to my Greedent. But it happened. It happened. Maybe for this team, Bullet Seed Greedent is better. Since Bullet Seed Greedent does have a better matchup versus water types, of course. That might be a good reason to run Bullet Seed Greedent in this team. But overall, I don't know. Tackle Greedent still seems very, very interesting. This game is not very interesting anymore, though. It's definitely over, so my opponent concedes. GG's. Okay, terrible lead with the Giratina. I think this time I decide... Oh, no, stay in still. I realized at some point that... Yeah, exactly. Giratina can have Ancient Power, and it's only 6? I think it's 6 Shadow Claws for Ancient Power. And, well, that would do a ton of damage for his Talonflame, so I decide maybe it's smarter if I just switch out a little quicker out of that matchup so I don't get Ancient Power. They have another Machamp in the back, which is kind of wild. I don't know why this team is a thing, because it would just straight up lose to any, like, Alola Ninetales lead. But it is what it is. It's very good versus mine, that's for sure. I'm going to Flame Charge this Machamp now, as I do have some loaded energy. I have a Shield Advantage now, it's not too bad. I have a boost, which is pretty good. I'm gonna hope they don't have Ancient Power here, and no, actually I shoot it up. And a Dragon Claw. At this point, they shouldn't have Ancient Power. That'd be a bit weird. Yeah, I'm just gonna let this go. There's no way they didn't throw Ancient Power if they have it right. So, I expect it not to be Ancient Power. I let the Dragon Claw go. We go for the Brave Bird. This should do a ton of damage to the Giratina. Does, they don't shield, and now we bring in Greedent. It's a Galarian Stunfisk. This is definitely over. This is where Bullet Seed will be better. This is, I think so at least. I think, yeah, Bullet Seed should be better here, because you're spammier. You probably don't even do more fast with damage, but you're definitely spammier, which helps a ton. Anyway, GG's. Okay, Machamp in the lead here. This is kind of okay. Like, this is where I want to see it, but Machamp is not good here. If they get a Crossshell bait, I'm dead. They do, and they bring in Snorlax afterwards. I bring in Dubwool, and this is fine-ish. They do have Superpower, which is not awesome. If they hit one, that does a ton of damage. And, well, if they hit a Body Slam, I think the Superpower will knock out. Actually, Superpower straight away, though, which is kind of fine with me, because now I can hit a couple Body Slams and knock it out. The problem is, though, the Machamp will get farm on my Dubwool. If the Machamp gets farm on my Dubwool, they'll have another Rock Slide stored for my Talonflame. So I might just get swept. I might just get completely swept, which wouldn't be ideal. Still get to another Body Slam versus this Machamp, though. At least take a shield, which is huge, since I do have a lot of energy stored on my Talon. They actually decide to no-shield it, which is quite nice. It's quite nice, because now the Machamp isn't as much of a threat anymore. I'm just going to bring my Talonflame. Not going to throw my move, as I do lose CMP. This Incinerate should almost kill it. If it doesn't, I can tackle down. But yeah, it actually switch out after throwing that move into a Pidgeot, which is definitely not ideal, especially since they no-shield my Flame Charge. But the combination of Talonflame and Greedent should be good enough here. At this point, they're one away from a Feather Dance, so I'm going to switch out into my Greedent. Just want to save that energy of my Talonflame for later, as I'm only one Incinerate away from my next Flame Charge. They Feather Dance here, that's fine. Even with that Feather Dance, the Tackles plus Body Slam should be able to knock out. Throw this Body Slam on the last possible moment, actually one turn after the last possible moment, as I throw right on the Brave Bird, which is not ideal. I wanted to throw before that, but I survive anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Actually, this is perfect, because now that we're debuffed, they would have needed to take a Body Slam while they were debuffed, which basically kills. But I needed to shield that, and I get to another one anyway, so this will knock out the Pidgeot, and then we should be able to farm down the Machamp too. I don't know what's happening to this game. Oh, they conceded. Pretty sure that's the final match. That is the final match. Thanks everyone for watching. I do think Dubwool was pretty good. I didn't get the best matchups with it today, just like with Tackle Greedent, but I think both have a lot of play, so definitely go give them a go if you have them. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. See you next one. Good luck, your Battle Trainers.